Welcome to the Athlete Insights Podcast, hosted by Yash Pad Day, a podcast focused on letting athletes tell their journeys in their sport.
Welcome into another episode of the Athlete Insights Podcast. Today I've got my guest, Ayden Vanwinkle. He's a senior at Coffee County High School, senior high school in Manchester, Tennessee. Plays center on the football team there. So, Ayden, appreciate you taking the time to spend with me this summer. I know you're probably busy with camps and doing all those other things, but I appreciate you taking the time spending with me, talking about your football career and kind of what your future goals are with football as well.
Sir.
So, with every guest that I have, I like to take it back to the top. And so, can you talk about kind of when you first fell in love with sport early on, how you got introduced to sport? Was football kind of your first love? Did you play any other sports growing up? Can you kind of give us a brief overview of kind of your youth with
Man,
sport?
so I started off playing baseball when I was
Okay.
about 4 or 5, and then I played football as well when I turned 5. Um, and up until I was probably, I don't know, maybe till I was like 16, which was
Mm-hmm.
just here recently because I just turned 17. Um,
Gotcha.
Maybe till I was like 16, I always liked baseball more than I liked football.
Mm-hmm.
I liked hitting and pitching and throwing and all that, but it's kind of shifted away from it. And my focus has been more on football now, and
Yeah.
I just love it, and I've always loved it. I felt like I've always had a soft spot in my heart for baseball as well,
Yeah.
but that's just not my sport. So,
Who's your team, if I may ask, on a professional level with baseball?
ooh, I'm a Yankees guy. I'm a
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Big Aaron Judge fan.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm transitioning to I'll be teaching. I'm a professor at Morehead State, and so a lot of my students are Braves fans. So it's
Ah,
it's
okay.
that's why I asked. I was like, "What's your team?" I if I follow, I don't follow baseball as much, but I do. When I was younger, I used to follow it a lot, and Yankees were my team. Derek Jeter was my favorite player at the time, so. Uh, Kind of connection there is that. So, and then when did you first start playing football? I know you said you grew up on baseball and stuff like that. When did you first start kind of interacting with
I started
football?
playing football when I was 5.
Five. Okay.
Yeah, and I haven't
Nice.
stopped
Nice.
since. So,
Gotcha. Any favorite kind of youth memory from youth football, from Pee Wee football?
yeah, there is one. So, it was the year that my friend's dad, Jet Trussler,
Uh,
his dad was the coach. His name's Jay Trussler. He's a physician.
hmm.
Um, and we're playing in what we called the Super Bowl against Shelbyville, and
Okay.
it is just back and forth. I mean, it's touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. I think the final score is like, I want to say it was like 50 something to, it was crazy. It was like the highest scoring game I've ever played in my life, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, it was just back and forth and back and forth, and then at the end we're tied, and our defense comes out, and we stop them because this is like the overtime rules in youth league. You're on like the
Uh,
10-yard line, and you got four
yeah.
plays to score, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Then our defense got a stop on like the half-yard line. It was amazing.
Hmm.
Um, and then our offense, we go out there and we scored on the first play, and before the ref even blows the whistle, Coach Jay just comes out there with his hands in the air. He throws the clipboard. He goes, "Yeah!" And he runs out on the field. And he runs out. He picks us up, gives us a hug. We all start jumping around, formed a dog pile, everything. It was amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's those core memories from the youth, and you said you started at 5, and you've never stopped playing since. And obviously, youth sport and having the enjoyment and the stuff coming from youth sport is a huge piece of that puzzle as to keeping kids and keeping young people motivated to continue to play sport. Because through my research and my doctorate, I found like kids that just hyper focus in on one sport, which is awesome that you did baseball and football together because the burnout in sport is real. So having those memories, having those core memories really is awesome. in that way. And so, and as you came into high school, can you talk about your high school experience a little bit and what your high school experience has been playing football, and your experience with that?
Yeah. So let's see, I've been through three head coaches in my high school career, and
Uh-huh.
I'm on the fourth O line coach right now. So it's been up and down. Some were better than others. I will say right now the staff that we have is probably the best.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best that we've ever had in my opinion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been in two different strength programs. Which I will have to say I do like Coach Harmon's strength program probably a little bit better, the one we have
Mm-hmm.
now. Um,
Gotcha.
I've seen a lot of growth there, but it's really just been absolutely crazy the way things have been ran. So when I got there
Mm-hmm.
at first, it was like just chaos, especially for the
Yeah.
freshmen. It was straight up chaos. Um, we were kind of they didn't really care about us much. You know, they were trying to get the
Mm.
varsity guys in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now going into my senior year, my starting left guard is a sophomore. My
Mm.
and then my my other starting my starting left tackle is going into his junior year, but last year I had two sophomore guards right
Mm.
next to me, and
Gotcha.
that was kind of unheard of before our new head coach got there, just
Yeah.
because the thing is like in 6A every sophomore you start that's a loss, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then now we've even got some freshmen playing on special teams and
That's
all that.
awesome.
And we have some freshmen getting some time on defense too, like at our safeties.
Hmm.
So it's just really been mixed. It's not been really one sided or
Yeah.
anything. It's changing every year. So
And now you're kind of it's always great to see kind of how, I coached high school ball when I was getting my PhD and everything, and still do here in I'm based out of Lexington, Kentucky now, so still do out there. And it's amazing to see kind of the evolution of players from their freshman year to now, they're through their senior year. So now you're kind of the alpha dog in the room now, being the senior and kind of that, and being the center, being the leader of the offensive line per se. Uh, what would be, if you had to describe kind of your leadership philosophy as you go into your senior year, kind of helping to mentor some of the younger guys, the sophomores, the freshmen that you mentioned? What would be some core tenets of your leadership philosophy? What would you want to pass on to them?
um, honestly, I mainly focus on giving personal like
Hmm.
personal advice that I've experienced firsthand. So I'm hoping to kind of give those guys some things that I've already experienced so they don't have to. Um,
Mm,
because kind of done everything as far as like trying to get better. I've overtrained, I've undertrained. So
gotcha.
I kind of know like where the happy medium is. So I'm really trying to get those guys to understand like they're hey this is good for you, but there's also too much and too little.
Yeah.
You got to find the happy medium. And then I'm really just trying to give them the best advice and make sure they know what not to do as well. So maybe when they get to become seniors they can also
Mm,
pass that on to somebody else, and it
yeah.
just keeps
Yeah.
snowballing and getting better from there.
For sure, for sure. And it's great to, if you can personally connect, like you said, giving them personal advice, personally connect with each and every one and individually, um, that is what creates that team unity, that team bond. And it's awesome to see, like you said, as you go into your senior year, you're kind of that leader, that alpha dog in the room to help mentor the young guys. So it's awesome to kind of see what you'll do with that your senior year. Any goals for your senior year? Any specific like individual goals that you have? I know there's the team goals always similar, but any individual goals you have for yourself your senior year?
Ball out.
All out, ball. I love it. I
Ball
love
out.
it. Ball out. It's awesome. And then the other aspect of this too, I wanted to talk about as you go into your senior year. I'm assuming, I mean, I know with the recruiting process and NCAA rules, kind of tread lightly on talking about the recruiting process as you're going through it. But I'm assuming you're looking at schools and wanting to play at the next level. One of the aspects of that that's, do my research that I love, that I'm super passionate about, is NIL. And I really want to see student athletes, do well, get paid for what they're doing, and really follow their passion in that way. And so have you thought about, given any thought? I know in Tennessee as well, NIL is legal for high school athletics as well. Have you thought about NIL, kind of what you would like to do in terms of NIL? What, kind of thought about that at all in any way?
It really just comes down to like when I'm going to find a college,
Hmm.
it really it comes down to how much am I missing? You know,
Yeah.
if I'm
Yep.
if I'm trying to go to a college and I'm missing like $2,000, and I would have to pay $2,000. If I could get
Hmm.
$2,000 in NIL money to cover that, that would be amazing. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
if not, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not a necessity. It's not a
Hmm.
necessity at all. What
Gotcha.
I love to get NIL money. Yes, yes, I would
Yeah.
absolutely love to
Yep.
get NIL money. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I have pretty decent grades. 3.98 GPA and a
That's
26
awesome.
on the ACT.
That's
So
awesome.
I don't think it's going to be a big requirement for me as much as some of these other kids who have like a 2.8 or
Yeah.
like an 18 on the ACT, where they're not going to get any extra scholarship money there. So
Mm.
especially at like the lower level, the D3 level, where NIL is absolutely, because they made it legal now in
Oh
D3,
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
where it's kind of essential for some of those kids to be able to play college or even go to college.
For
Um,
sure. For sure.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. No, and it's, that's just something I'm super passionate about. So it's always interesting to hear kind of the perspective of student athletes on, I always love to see, student athletes get paid regardless because they do deserve it. And there's many years prior to NIL that, the universities and colleges were making money off the backs of these players, and they didn't see a dime, and that's unfair. I mean, to me at least, that's unfair. So
Yeah.
I do like it when I see student athletes get paid because they do deserve it. So it's nice to kind of hear that perspective from you as well. And then before I end the podcast, Aiden, I always ask student athletes, coaches, sports staff, if you had to give advice, if you go back to, as you said, going back to your leadership philosophy and kind of that mentorship piece, if you were in a room talking to freshmen football players or players in middle school that want to get to that level where you are, where you're heading into your senior year, you have good, you have really good skill set, you have really good leadership. Your leadership philosophy is great. You're looking well in the classroom. You said you have a 3.98 GPA, 26 on the ACT. What would be the one skill set or one piece of advice you'd give to the younger generation of football players coming up? I know you're still young, but
Yeah.
going back looking at middle school and freshman, sophomore, some of those guys. What's one piece of advice you'd give to those guys?
I would say it's very essential sometimes to just slow things down and focus on perfecting your craft or perfecting
Mm,
your mechanics.
mm,
Whether that could be watching film, that could be just doing footwork drills at the house, literally just taking 2 steps out of your stance as an O lineman. That helps tremendously in ways
yeah,
people wouldn't even think about it, because your first 2 steps on the O line, they're the most essential. The
yeah,
faster you get those in, the faster you're coming off the ball.
mm,
Um, and it just helps so much. It also helps with body positioning. It helps with um, how. Another thing is, if you have one foot in the ground and not the other one, you get pushed back a lot easier, and you don't get as much push as if you're pushing off of both feet very quickly, very hard, slamming them into the ground. So I feel like it's very important, and this is not just at O line, to really watch film, look at what you're doing wrong, and think of ways to fix it, or ask
mm,
questions too. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Go to your
yeah,
position coach. Your
mm,
position coach, you should have your position coach number in your phone. You should be sending your position coach film to ask what you need to get better at, or you should be asking what you need to be getting better at. You
yeah,
know, and you should really just focus on the
for sure.
fundamentals and the small things. It's all that matters. You
Eh,
can perfect all these the spin moves and the push pulls and the
yeah,
hand techniques, but if you don't have good footwork, if you don't have a strong base, a nice
mm,
solid engaged core,
yeah,
um, you're not going to do anything. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
how many fancy moves you know, how many ways you know to do something, if you don't know the basics. So you've
for
got to
sure.
learn the basics, and you've got to be like a robot when you're on those fundamentals.
It's awesome. Right, going back to the basics, back to the fundamentals, and really, if you have that, I mean, it's like, you build a house, you build a strong foundational base. That house is going to withstand anything, anything that comes up behind it. So it's great that you said that, having that strong foundational base and going back to the fundamentals and really perfecting those fundamentals. And the other aspect that I really like that you mentioned here that I'll ask about as well, which will before we end here is you talked about the watching film and sending film to your coaches and stuff like that. And can you talk about the importance? When I coached high school ball, and I'm in the process of doing that now in Lexington. I've had a lot of players that come up to me and say, "Hey, I want to be this, I want to do that," um, but they're not really invested in the film room and things like that. Can you talk about the importance of watching film and how much better of a player how much impact that's had on you being able to go back and really dissect your own footage and kind of improve your game?
Yes, sir. So there's actually an old saying that I can kind of tie to this. It's the eye
Uh-huh.
in the sky don't lie. So
Okay.
when you're getting that drone film and everything, it is
Yeah.
absolutely essential to watch everything you're doing and keep in your mind like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What could I have done wrong? Not what I'm
Hmm.
doing right. What could I have done wrong on this play? What can I do better on this play?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's very important to focus on what you did good. I feel
Yeah.
like it's more important to focus on what you did wrong so you can
Yeah.
grow from it. Like there could be there have been many instances where I've been accidentally taking a negative step off the line. And I thought
Mm.
I was going forward the entire time in the game. And then I get on film, and my first step is back and then up.
For
The other one's up, right? So
gotcha.
I'm in a
Yeah.
split position with less power. So I'm looking on
Yeah.
film. I'm like, okay, I need to work on that in practice. I need to work on that in practice this week. I need to work on that in practice this week. It's absolutely
Hmm.
essential. Um,
Yeah.
you can't stress enough how important film is. And
Yeah.
even if you're not even watching your own film, you should be watching if like as an offensive standpoint.
Hmm.
When I was getting prepared for a team, I would pull up film of their defensive line
Yeah.
and look to see if they had any tails as to which way they were going. And I actually did find
Mm.
one against Brentwood.
Yeah.
They staggered their feet the way they were going every time.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I was able to in game make an audible to my guards to either like a straight up regular double team or have him gallop, and
Oh.
it did help. Of course, they didn't believe me, so I had to get them on the same page for the first half. I'm like, look, dude, they're doing this. Look on the iPad, they're doing this. They're like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So when I called a gallop, they listened the next time, and it worked tremendously because you know you can't really. It really helps to know where they're going. You
Yeah.
know, that's
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest things. So if you can find something in your enemies and your opponent's uh the way he carries himself. I know a lot of tight ends or receivers they spit on their gloves when they're supposed to get the
Mm.
ball,
Yeah.
or running backs they like do stuff with their hands or their feet when they're running the ball. O line
Yeah.
they lean whenever they're pulling or pass setting or they
Yeah.
lean forward when they're run blocking. It's very essential to look at all those things, all the small details of your opponent, not only just yourself.
For
But
sure.
I feel like looking at film yourself is just so important.
Yeah, and it tells you so much, right? How to block, like, down. It teaches you so much on down blocking versus what's like you said, where's the D line shifting towards, right? And kind of helps you court, not just, I mean, I always say the O lineman and D line being in the trenches, that kind of determines the outcome of the football game. So, being able to build those tells, it is awesome to see and kind of build that in that piece. So, Aiden, I appreciate you sharing your insight and your knowledge about that because that's awesome coming from you. And that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast is to help the kids that I coach, help the kids that I get involved with as well. and every football player, basketball player, whoever it may be, to understand here's what needs, if in order to be great, in order to be good, here's what you need to do. So as an inspiration in that piece. So that's kind of why I started the podcast in the first place. So it's great to see that insight from you. But that's all the time we have for this episode of the Athlete Insights podcast. Again, want to thank Ayden Vanwinkle one more time for coming on the podcast. And you can follow, I'll have your social media and everything linked on the video um, and in the description for YouTube and Spotify. So you can follow Ayden through his senior year now at Coffee County and then into his collegiate career as well and beyond. And then you can follow my podcast on YouTube, Google Podcast, pretty much anywhere you get a podcast, you'll find this one. So, Ayden, appreciate you, man, taking the time. And we'll see you next time.